We're traveling in a helicopter over the prairie in central Texas. An endless expanse interrupted only by a few farms and oil pumps. But then, this, sprinting through the prairie, a herd of wildebeest, followed by zebras, antelopes and gazelles. We're on a so-called safari ranch in the middle of Texas. Hundreds of African animals live here, many of them protected species. The idyllic scenes are deceptive. The animals are not alone here. They are the targets. Texan safari ranches are where people go hunting. Hunting guide Nicholas Meyer is preparing for today's trophy hunt.
Going for a quick walkabout, seeing what the animals are looking like today. My job is, as a hunting guide, to make sure that if there's a particular species my client wants to shoot, that we shoot a trophy quality animal. And the reason it's trophy quality is because it's past its prime. How's it going, man?
At the hunting lodge, Nicholas' client is already waiting for him. Blake Watson, a war veteran, recently back from Afghanistan. Today's hunt is a gift from former comrades, because an African animal is what Blake has always wanted to shoot.
You can go to a lot of people's houses and they have these giant, massive whitetail and mule deer hanging up in their house. But you go to somebody's house and they've got an animal from another continent. It's just, it's a lot cooler feeling. It's a cool story that you could tell. And it's like having a foreign car here, you know. A lot of people drive Fords and Chevys over here, but somebody has a Ferrari, you know, it's a whole different, it's a lot different, it's fun.
Nicholas Meyer has turned this fun into a lucrative business. A safari hunt costs a minimum of $3,000, including overnight accommodation in a luxury hunting lodge. In Germany too, you can take guests along on a hunt for a fee, with one big difference. Everyone involved must be a qualified hunter. Here, any amateur is allowed to shoot African game.
Right here we have sable antelope, which is southern parts of Africa. Nilgai antelope, which is Asian. Another sable. Right up here is actually one of my favorite, Cape buffalo, which is also part of the Big Five. We do have them in Texas. Very few ranches have them. Grant's gazelle, Tanzania. Black wildebeest right here, which is southern parts of Africa. And kudu, which stretches through most of Africa.
After the trophy show, we go out to the fully air-conditioned hunting lodge, into the hot Texan prairie at 38 degrees. Hunting from the convertible Jeep is easy and comfortable, a kind of drive-through hunt. Very few customers go stalking here on foot. Most of them want to get easy prey as quickly as possible. Surprisingly, wild animals from Africa and Asia have lived in Texas for over 100 years. Back then, enterprising ranchers imported the first specimens to offer them to rich Americans for hunting. Then, something unforeseen happened. The animals felt right at home here. The climate and vegetation were similar to those in their homeland, and there were hardly any predators. There are now at least 1,000 safari ranches, 125 species, and 500,000 animals. The whole thing is now also a multi-million-dollar business, sanctioned by the US government. As long as the animals are not classified as protected species or dangerous to humans, the responsible federal authority has no problem with safari hunting. It's legal and it's not regulated.
There's a season 365 days out of the year, okay? So they know what's going on. But for 7-8 years of their life with the females, goes up to 15-20 years, they live in complete freedom.
What sounds extremely strange to us, Nicholas calls population control, a principle that's also known in Germany. But in Germany, things work a bit differently. Hunters are only allowed to reduce the wild animal population if it's good for the ecological balance. Here in Texas, however, it's all about hard cash. The rarer the animals, the more it costs to shoot them. Zebras can be bought for $5,000. A water buffalo costs $10,000. But Nicholas is not only a businessman, he also sees himself as a conservationist.
This is a way of properly and ethically and respectfully controlling a species and continuing to breed them. We have all these species from around the world on one central location, and you're helping the species in ways that even the zoos themselves cannot do. But the zoos only have so much land. They only have so much they can do. But private ranches like this across not just Texas, but across the US, okay? That's what continues the breeding population.
According to Nicholas, the hunters' money goes directly into targeted breeding programs to benefit endangered species. The Dama gazelle, the scimitar oryx, the Mendes antelope, all threatened with extinction in Africa. In Texas, there are thousands of them. In Nicholas' opinion, mainly thanks to hunters like Blake.
You know, you're paying for an experience, and that money that you're using is not just going into someone's pocketbook. You know, like I said, it's help paying to upkeep the environment that they live in and the health standards that they get to have, and, you know, just living a better life than they would just if they were out in the wild.
Safari hunters as environmentalists? A bad joke, according to animal rights activist Shari Pearson. In her opinion, what's going on here is pure greed. Species protection is just a pretext.
A lot of these animals don't even belong there in the first place. They're imported and they're bought and they're shipped in to be placed in this killing environment. They're also bred, overly bred, so they can say, oh, we have too many of these animals, so now we have to kill them off for conservation, and there's no conservation about it.
The fact that some antelope species are actually better off in Texas than in their home country is no reason for Shari Pearson to support the safaris. For her, it's a matter of principle. These animals should not be in Texas.
If mankind wouldn't have interfered with Mother Nature to begin with, you wouldn't have this surplus of animals to slaughter. Nature would have taken care of itself.
But isn't there an alternative? Couldn't African animals in Texas be protected without the money of safari hunters? David Bamberger has tried it. The environmentalist has been caring for endangered animals on his eco-ranch for 40 years, and he's particularly fond of an African animal, the scimitar oryx. When it was threatened with extinction in the 1970s, he agreed to introduce it to Texas.
I started this not for hunting, not for profit, but to maintain this gene pool to where if the time ever came, they could be brought back to their home country.
In Texas, there are now 11,000 scimitar oryxes, but in Africa, the animal is still on the endangered species list. The reason for this is that re-importation has proved virtually impossible. Too little money, not enough species conservation programs, too much poverty in the country. So, the animals stayed in Texas. And David Bamberger has no choice but to sell his annual surplus to the safari hunters.
And this animal is going to be lost to society and lost to all of us if we don't have some little places, and Texas is ideal for it, that maintain this genetic diversity, and that's still what I want to do, but I can't do that. I mean, I would soon overpopulate this ranch. I got to stop breeding unless I can make room for the new ones. And making room means to cull or to take or to hunt.
By now, Nicholas and Blake have had enough of the photo safari. The real hunt is about to start. Final shooting practice on the ranch.
As it gets a little bit later, probably sneak up on our blind, get settled in, see if we can't kill something.
Blake has decided on the animal he wants to kill today. A black buck antelope. Country of origin, India. Cost, $2,500. The animal was practically extinct in Asia in the 1970s. In Texas, it's the most widespread species of exotic game. And Blake can shoot it quite legally today. A simple hunting license available for $15 at the local city hall is all he needs. There is no examination. Unthinkable in Germany. If you want to hunt here, you have to take 120 course hours and pass various hunting exams. a process that takes months and can cost thousands of euros. A first antelope appears 200 meters away.
Put him up, go. Hold on. Let me see him first. Don't shoot. Wait. Just keep on him. Keep on him. Don't shoot him. Just stay on him. I can't tell yet. Just wait. All right. He stopped, but don't shoot. He's too young.
Too young. This antelope was lucky. At first, it's surprising that Nicholas only shoots certain animals. But there is also a business idea behind it. He only allows big game that can no longer contribute to the reproduction of the herd to be shot here.
I'm not someone out here just trying to kill stuff. There's nothing correct about that. There's no real enjoyment just out there whacking animals that are too young or are in their prime for breeding or whatever it might be. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help me, and it surely doesn't help the animals.
Ultimately, the animals don't really stand a chance against the hunters in the Jeep. The hunt at the safari ranch takes place in a fenced enclosure, 3 square kilometers in size. That's 10 times the size of the Berlin Zoo. But still, at some point, there's no place left to go. Animal rights activists call this a canned hunt, a practice that's banned in many countries, including Germany. Patrick Graves likes to hunt himself, but only if the animals have a fair chance.
What's going on?
Yes, I'm a hunter, but this isn't hunting. This is, no different than just going to the zoo and paying an extra fee to shoot the animal while it's in the cage. I mean, it's no sport to it. There's no real reason for it.
In Texas, animal rights activists are very often on their own. With street campaigns like this one in downtown San Antonio, Shari Pearson tries to make people aware of the fate of the exotic animals. The inhabitants of this gun-loving state don't seem to mind safari hunting. Many even approve of it.
If you enjoy hunting, and I don't see any difference in hunting that and a deer or a hog or whatever.
They have it on their own ranch. They obviously imported it. They obviously paid for it. It's their personal property, no more than a kitchen cabinet would be.
And most safari animals here don't really have any more rights than a kitchen cabinet does. Hunting takes place on private land. The hunters can do what they want here. They don't even have to document which animals they shoot. It's now 8 p.m., the perfect hunting time.
We've been seeing more and more animals walk around. It's because the evening movement has begun for food, water, and so forth.
And then suddenly, it all happens very quickly. A herd of blackbuck antelopes with a promising specimen in the middle. Blake wastes no time at all.
I heard it.
It looks like the animal has been hit. Now the two hunters have to hurry.
Is it good blood?
I saw it drop probably about that big on a rock.
The wounded antelope is not easy to find in the twilight, but after 20 minutes, the trail of blood inevitably leads to the target.
He's a great animal, and Blake, he shot a perfect shot. I mean, I'm still jumpy about it. I still get excited about every hunt, and I can't tell you how many black buck hunts I've done, and it still gets your blood pumping every time.
It only took 5 hours for Blake to get his trophy. Nicholas will skin and gut the animal for him. Blake gets to take the meat home. The head goes away to be stuffed.
It's an animal I've been wanting for a long time, and I just love the way the animal looks. And like you said, I'm gonna have him processed, and I'm gonna eat him. I'm not gonna waste anything out of respect for the animal. And then, I'm not just gonna throw him, the rest of him, out somewhere. He'll get treated with respect, dressed up, and he'll be something that I have pride in, that I show off to people that come to my house.
Species protection the American way. But for safari hunting in Texas, things could be changing. 3 antelope species are now also protected animals in Texas. In future, hunting them will require a special permit. Blake's black buck antelope, however, is not yet one of them.